All the evidence has been presented, all the testimony has been given, all the words have been said. Now all we're waiting for now is a simple jury verdict, and could be coming out today, could be coming out in a couple hours. I'm about a hair before 5 o'clock while I'm recording this. Don't know how long it's going to take, and don't know how long the jury's going to be sticking around today. And if I'm a betting man after these closing arguments, and especially the rebuttal, I think that there's a strong possibility that we could see a verdict here today in the fourth video on the channel, but it's not about me. It's all about Camille Vasquez. Let's just be completely honest. If you guys were following along with any of this stuff over the past couple of days, she has been absolutely ruthless. She's been taking out years and years of frustration working on this case, finally being able to put the final nail in the coffin. She had a couple of doozies here today because she began the day's proceedings after all the jury instructions were just a speed ran through. It took about half an hour, and then we had both closing arguments from both sides, but varying qualities from different people, okay? And I'm not going to run through it all fucking line by line by line, but what I would pick up, if I'm a member of the jury, what would I be picking up on? Well, I know I pretty much already have my fucking mind made up about this, but if I was being an impartial man, especially listening to the second closing argument that was presented, what exactly would I be picking up? What would I have to believe in order to render my verdict on behalf of Amber Heard, okay? Because the way that Camille started today, because the opening arguments, I guess the first closing argument was presented by Johnny Depp's team, okay? It went the same 1-2, 1-2 breakdown, where closing arguments from Johnny Depp's side, and then the closing arguments from Amber Heard's side. And then you had the rebuttal, and then you had the incredibly truncated rebuttal from Amber Heard's side because their time management is through the fucking floor. But regardless, Camille started off with a pretty good doozy, okay? They ran back all of the audio that you would expect. The tell the world, Johnny, tell the world that you, a man, are a victim of domestic abuse. Tell the judge, tell the jury. Played that audio, okay? And then the what the fuck? I don't know. I didn't punch you. I hit you. Played that one back. And then the evil cackling audio, which I was in the middle of a run at the time, and it definitely encouraged me to just run a little bit faster. We broke down some of that over the weekend, but Camille, well, she started off with this statement, okay? And in fact, I'd have to amend it just a little bit. There is an abuser in this courtroom, and it's not Johnny Depp. Actually, there's two. One's Amber Heard, and the other one's Camille Vasquez, because she was absolutely fucking brutal here today. A deeply troubled person desperate for attention, and asks the jury to hold her accountable for her lies during closing arguments. It was a very cohesive narrative, because they split up their closing arguments. Camille gave her portion, which was just basically running down facts, okay? Johnny Depp actually has photographs, he has video recordings, he has audio recordings of all the abuse and the admitted abuse by Amber Heard, whereas on Amber Heard's side, what do you have? A couple of photoshopped pictures. Great, okay? Amber Heard wants you to believe that everybody is lying, that it's a big fucking conspiracy, that everybody is on Johnny Depp's side, right? Okay, cool. Well, here's a list of all the people that showed up today. His sister, other personnel that he's had long relationships with, okay? He knows people for decades and decades and decades, something that Amber Heard can't even come close to claiming as well. And of the litany of people that testified on his behalf, that he never even once committed any sort of physical or sexual abuse, because that's all that's been claimed, even though Rottenborn and Elaine would just try to spin some sort of a fucking whacked narrative that they just kind of Frankenstein together at the last moment. But regardless, nobody could ever corroborate this, okay? Not even Amber Heard's witnesses, and not even the list of people. Oh, well, Johnny pays for all of them, and everybody wants to come out of the woodworks to help out Johnny Depp. Okay, cool. So you have all of these people who have incredible credentials, former U.S. Marines, former police officers, former other armed personnel, doctors, nurses, psychiatrists. Everybody's lying. Everybody is lying to bury Amber Heard. You have to believe that. Or on the other side of the aisle, you have Amber Heard. Who showed up for her? Well, her sister, and her sister And the only people, and Camille said this, and that was great as well, the only people that she could get to show up on her behalf that wasn't her sister, she had to pay to get them there. That's been common arguments that have been running around in these circles for a while, and the fact that she just, laid it out there, it was perfect. It was great. It was wonderful. And we'll go over some of these statements here. I won't keep everybody forever. Johnny Depp's team delivered closing arguments Friday in a blockbuster defamation trial that has raged on for 6 weeks. And yes, it's all done and dusted right now. There's an abuser in this courtroom, but it's not Mr. Depp. There's a victim of abuse in this court, but it's not Miss Heard, Vasquez said. Miss Heard is in fact the abuser, and Mr. Depp is the abused. Yeah, no, and they had nice illustratives, okay? Previous evidence, like I said, they had pictures, they had the text messages, okay? And they actually had relevant audio recordings of Amber Heard being the monster, okay? The other side wants to throw that around. Oh, Johnny Depp says that he has a split personality. Well, actually, who's the only person written down on medical records saying that they have 2 to 3 different personalities within them at all times? All right, then. But another lovely, lovely little piece of narrative justice. And if it turns out that we're going to get a verdict today, it would just be quite the piece de resistance. On May 27th, 2016, Miss Heard walked into the courthouse in Los Angeles, California to get a no-notice ex parte restraining order against Mr. Depp, and in doing so, ruined his life by falsely telling the world that she was a survivor of domestic violence against Johnny Depp. Today, on May 27th, 2022, exactly to the day, 6 years later, we ask you to give Mr. Depp his life back by telling the world that Mr. Depp is not the abuser Miss Heard said he is, and hold Miss Heard accountable for her lies. Like I said, the delivery was on point, okay? She hit every fucking note that you really needed to, and it was definitely an A closing from her. I give it 100% full marks, okay? They kind of did leave out the whole Hicksville trailer incident and the fact that Amber Heard, while on cross-examination for yesterday's rebuttal, just said that, oh yeah, Morgan Knight's not a real person. I've never seen him before in my life. The motherfucker owns the trailer park, or he did at the time. He was the founder of it, okay? And yet he came forward and had this nice story, and if you go on his Twitter feed, okay, he has other people also backing it up. People who just recently started a fucking Twitter account just to back up his recitation of that event that night, okay? Once again, telling a tale of how Amber Heard would just shift on a moment's notice between two legitimate emotional expressions, okay? From being ragingly jealous to all of a sudden just happy and expressive. We've seen that multiple times in the courtroom. What's at stake is a man's good name. What's at stake is a man's life that he lost when he was accused of heinous crimes, and the life he could live when he's finally vindicated. 6 years ago today, Miss Heard filed a false report of domestic violence against her husband of 15 months, Johnny Depp. It was a setup. She tipped off the paparazzi so they would be waiting. They knew where she would pause to show off her bruise. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what Morgan Tremaine, the former TMZ field supervisor, forget his exact designation, but he was the dude who sends out the paparazzi off the back of legitimate tips that their website received, okay? But no, he's on Johnny Depp's pay. No, he just wants his 15 minutes of... No, wait, he works for TMZ and he's actually putting himself right in the crosshairs of a very litigious organization. Well, he's just a liar and he never worked for TMZ or some dumb shit like that. Vasquez continued, the photos captured what they wanted her to see. The image of a battered woman. The dark mark on her face appeared 6 days after seeing Mr. Depp. It was a lie. She knew it. Mr. Depp knew it, and multiple witnesses who saw her that week knew it. The world only saw what she wanted them to see. Very powerful narrative throughout her entire opening closing argument. It was the first of many people that were speaking today, okay? But I can actually remember some of the story beats that she hit along the way, okay? And this was the one line that I remember, and then we'll transition into what everybody else said, because like I said, I don't want to be here all day. Try to keep this as succinct as possible. 2 years later, when promoting the biggest role of her career until this trial, Miss Heard presented herself as a public figure representing domestic violence. Yeah, no, exactly. It was with an act of profound cruelty, not just to Mr. Depp, but to true survivors of domestic violence. I hate that argument, but I know it plays well to normies, okay? Like, this trial right here, oh my god, you shouldn't be bringing this trial because it just go ahead and it defames and demeans every real survivor of domestic violence. No, it just goes to prove if you're lying about this shit, you don't make these defamatory statements, okay? And if you actually have legitimate evidence that you're being abused, you will be heard, okay? Look at how much publicity Amber Heard got off of these fucking fictitious claims. For the better part of 6 years, it was all about her story. And if she had one piece of fucking evidence, one causal link between Johnny Depp throwing a punch, it connecting with her face, this would be a totally different trial. But the facts don't line up with Amber Heard's side. But she's just so worked up in telling her story, okay? Knowing that she has no talent, she's 36 years old, she has a history of abuse when it comes to significant others, okay? She knows that, and her future in Hollywood, that's a bridge that she self-immolated. All of them. No major studio wants to work with this bitch, okay? So she wants to transition into being the face of domestic abuse. She got that designation from the ACLU, right? You know, she's, thanks to republishing the Washington Post op-ed, also announced that yes, now I'm going to be the ambassador for domestic violence. It's going to be wonderful and fantastic. She's going to continue to stump on that. She's going to be the Colin Kaepernick of domestic violence, okay? Because even when she eventually loses this trial, she can just say, well, the system is just unjust. And it was like I said in my opinion, there are so many people that would just come to the defense of a powerful man. She would continue this narrative. Amber Heard, this is, okay? She would continue to once again just reinforce this narrative. Everybody is against me and I'm the ultimate victim at all times, okay? Even when the evidence doesn't back me up, it doesn't matter. I have my truth. I need to tell my truth, and the court systems can't be trusted, and everybody's just here at the beck and call of Johnny Depp. All 50 witnesses that they called out, everybody's in on this big collusion. Even my inept lawyers, who actually did, one of them did a good job, good as he could do with the facts that were presented. Then for the second half of the closing argument, Ben Chu popped up there, and he just started out with a little bit more of an emotional plea, and I just kind of portrayed the feelings, and you know, that's good, because this is really, okay, what started out as just a technical defamation claim, which was always going to be hard for Johnny Depp to prove, but it ended up just ballooning into this fucking monstrosity of just absolute lies from Amber Heard, and it's just really easy to step out of the way of that nonsense, and then convince 7 people that are on the jury to be like, yeah, no, all that bullshit, make sure nobody else has to deal with that crap, and you guys also step out of the way and punish her for her heinous acts. And yes, it was important, okay, because Camille has very good presence with the jury from what the reports have been. She's very popular even within all of the courtroom, okay, so she was the first person up there. She just hammered on the facts, okay, the fact that Amber Heard didn't provide any evidence that was there. And look at all of these people. What are the common narratives of Amber Heard's case? Everybody is lying. Everybody is supporting Johnny Depp, okay, and I know what I went through. And she ran through every reason why that's just patently absurd. And then Ben Chu pops up there and it's like, listen, this dude just completely lost his life, okay? And then he started to go through the more technical arguments. And what was very important also is just the candor, okay? When Amber Heard's side was giving their nonsensical arguments, Johnny Depp was jovial with the 2 people that were sitting at the table with him, okay? Ben Chu, obviously on his right at all times, and then Camille on the left as well. And they were commiserating back and forth. But then whenever you'd peer over to Amber Heard's table, you had a lawyer who kind of looks like a young Cenk Uygur, okay, with a really itchy neck. He was just kind of staring forward like, this is my life, huh? I think I need to rethink my whole career trajectory. And she wasn't talking with anybody, okay? When Camille, I can't remember exactly when this was, but Camille was starting to really go in on some of Amber Heard's absurd claims that were out there. Also, just pointing out that, yeah, whenever somebody wouldn't believe her fictitious claim of abuse, they would just continue to escalate and elevate over and over and over and over again until it got to a point where she was raped on a bar with a Maker's Mark bottle. None of this makes any sense. Where are the injuries? Where are the photographs? You take all of these photographs of a man fucking sleeping in a chair, right? You take all of these pictures because you're a model and an actress, okay? You'd obviously know how to frame and stage these pictures, right? You take so many pictures of one specific breakfast table and make sure that it looks the best it possibly can. But yet you couldn't take a picture of any of the aftermath of any of the big incidents that you allege? No, of course not. So yeah, anyways, to just wrap up Chu, who I thought did a really good job because he also has a really great presence. He's kind of just what you'd think of a lawyer in court, okay? He's not trying to fool anybody. He's just presenting the technical arguments. He walked everybody through the verdict sheets and told everybody exactly what you have to find in order to fill them out. It was important because they had a visual representation that they'd be able to just, once they had the physical form in their hands, oh yeah, right, I know exactly how to fill this out, let us go and party for Memorial Day. But it was really good. Overall, the opening argument, both halves, okay, there was no drop-off for Ben Chu, okay? I've seen some brainlets out there say, oh, it kind of dragged in the middle. Ben Chu was very good about making sure that he hit all the points that he needed to. Okay, the technical arguments, it can be a little bit dry, but it is incredibly necessary to drive that home. Hold the jurors' hands going through the technical arguments that could be misconstrued. Okay, this is exactly how you vote on that verdict form in order to find Johnny Depp the victor. Wonderful, fantastic. And then you got into Amber Heard's closing arguments, and unfortunately, I don't have any wonderful arguments or anything like that. But I got the live feed up again, and it's great, right? I've given Rottenborn his big ups because he's the best lawyer on Amber Heard's team. Okay, but at the same time too, he was as good for that case as the facts would permit him to be. Okay, let me explain a bit. It's an inconsistent, incoherent statement. Okay, obviously there was some inclination that this dude, if he could just keep it on the straight and narrow, that it would be a defamation claim. He wanted to argue that. He was making those claims a bunch of different times. It's really hard to prove actual malice. It's really hard to prove that anybody made certain statements under the knowing knowledge. There you go. Anything that was said was actually false. Okay, maliciously trying to ruin someone's life. Okay, that's really tough to prove. But unfortunately, who's running the show? Well, it's Amber Heard. Okay, and I also got to knock points off of Rottenborn for that because he's really good on the technical stuff. And if you have a shitty case like this and you need somebody to come in and be a bit of a fucking slime ball and just power through and be snarky in response to a charismatic witness on the stand, he's the guy that you'd want, okay? But then he's also the guy who took this job knowing the case was practically an easy layup, if not for the client. So I gotta knock him marks for that. But he is head and shoulders better than everybody else that's up there, okay? Literally, his... what were his cohorts, okay? People who were objecting to their own fucking questions, and then he had Elaine, the fire hose of useless information. More on her in a minute. But yeah, no, Rottenborn hopped up there and tried to say that this case was about a whole bunch of different things, okay? What was the through line on this? Oh, it's First Amendment, okay? Trying to wrap Amber Heard in the fucking American flag. Losing proposition. That was the first time this whole, I'm an American, I'm a person too, I was expressing my First Amendment right. The first time we ever fucking heard that was on the stand yesterday for the rebuttal, okay? I was just saying things that I thought were true, and that's my right as an American. And it's like, okay, listen, the First Amendment covers a lot of fun things, okay? You have the right to say whatever you want, except for when you're trying to purposefully lie for the sake of defaming somebody. That's an important distinction. And then also, Rottenborn would just go on to, well, try to gaslight everybody within earshot, okay? Johnny Depp doesn't take any responsibility for anything that he's ever done, okay? Johnny Depp is the real abuser, and we have the text messages that prove he asked for drugs, he's friends with Paul Bettany, and he makes really base jokes. Like, outside of that, that's supposed to correlate to him beating the brakes off of Amber Heard. No, it doesn't. But he makes that compelling argument because it plays well on Twitter. Johnny Depp said vile things about stuffing the corpse of his wife in the back of a Honda Civic. And as you could see in the courtroom, even though from her eyes you couldn't really tell the difference, Amber Heard is in fact alive and as well as she can present. Because once again, she's just wearing these weird fucking dude cut suits, okay? Is there a picture? There you can kind of see what she's going. I don't know. She got like this fucking mob boss gimmick going on. And I swear to God, my dad had that fucking undershirt, okay? There's like a Christmas party from 1996. That weird big striped shirt. And I've never seen anybody without the last name fucking Gotti wearing a double-breasted suit like that. And it's cut. Look at the shoulder pads. It's a fucking dude, okay? But then you have the audacity to put your hair in like a fucking halo, like you're just the most innocent person alive. I've said this a couple of times, but it does in fact bear repeating. I don't think Amber Heard is lying. She's convinced herself of what she's made up in her mind, and she's retelling what she believes. But unfortunately, those are lies. So she's telling the truth as best as she's convinced herself. She's fucking nuts, dude. But if that's one of her assistants in the background, you know what? I might find myself in her sphere. Because she looks like a chick I used to know. Anyways. No, but then Rottenborn was just making these weird fucking arguments, right? Like it says here in the headline, okay? Rottenborn told the jury if Amber was abused by Mr. Depp even one time, then she wins. Okay? Like that would be a very, very, very easy case to win if those were the facts, okay? But what Amber Heard alleged that Johnny Depp did was physically abuse him. Or physically abuse her. Well, physically abuse him is what actually happened. And then sexually abuse her, right? Okay? Those are the abuse claims, okay? Yelling is not abuse, okay? Oh yeah, oh no, he controlled her career, even though she had the most work and the highest profile roles of her career during the time that they were in some form of a relationship. Yeah, definitely controlling his career, trying to get her fired from Aquaman, and everybody else is lying once again, and it's fucking fantastical, okay? Because he's presenting a case, right, from his client who's trying to say that there is this big conspiracy out there. Everybody is against her, everybody is lying in order to cover up for Johnny Depp because he's a powerful man who was taken down with just a little fucking op-ed in Washington Post. He hasn't worked since the thing got published. But anyways, no, he's such a powerful man that everybody will come out of the woodworks in order to resuscitate his career. The amount of hoops that you're expecting so many people to go through, okay, and then to even drag out Kate Moss, which, thank you for that, but somebody who has never, ever, ever testified in court for anything, okay, the fact that you couldn't bring out anybody else over the course of Johnny Depp's 58 years that he's interacted with that has ever been violent with him. The fact that you couldn't do that, you had all the money in the world and you couldn't find somebody. Oh, you found Ellen Barkin. What did she say again? Let's refresh everybody's memory because he didn't bring that up. Okay, she was supposed to be one of the defense's star witnesses, right? Ellen Barkin. Johnny tossed a wine bottle in the general direction of a bunch of people in a kitchen. Great, wonderful, fantastic. When did he do that? Some 30 years ago? Great, thanks for your time. Actually, you know what? We didn't even need to thank you for your time because everybody, okay? And then, oh yeah, Amber Heard's big rebuttal, because I might as well just lump this all together, right? The big rebuttal at the end of it. Well, it's not true. Nobody didn't. People did turn up for Amber Heard, okay? And she does still have friends. That's sad. Not that she has friends. Even a liar deserves friends. Even a horrible individual deserves friends. But the fact that he has to say that in order to, I don't know, reinforce anything, that's a little fucking sus. Why would you say that? But Rottenborn's claim that, yeah, oh no, actually people did turn out for Amber Heard, okay? They testified and they went against Johnny Depp, who was all of those people's landlord at the time, right? And they were the ones who probably perpetrated the hoax there right at the end of their relationship by, you know, tossing over some racks and, like I said, spilling some wine. All of those people corroborated some of maybe a couple of the different events that were out there, different variations on it, of course. But those people didn't turn up for Amber Heard, okay? These were people that had to get in touch after years and years of non-communications, after a one-sided termination of a friendship, right? Like the makeup artist, made a lot of fucking hubbub about her. Before that James Corden interview when Amber Heard had no visible injuries. She was the one who lacquered on all of the makeup. You know, she had a split lip that one time. And what did the makeup artist attest to? Yeah, we just put the red lipstick over the top of it, and that's all we needed. Great, wonderful, fantastic. And again, showing pictures. Oh, look at all that swelling. Well, it was actually ice and like Amica cream, right? It's arnica, you retards. But no, all of these video depositions that were played of people that Amber hadn't talked to for years and years on end were from 2 fucking years ago in most cases. I think Rocky Pennington's video deposition was still at the beginning of 2021. Couldn't be bothered to show up in the fucking courtroom, okay? Couldn't be bothered to lend support to her former best friend who she mooched off of for, what, how many months? Living in the fucking lap of luxury on Johnny Depp's dime. It was a fucking losing argument, dude, okay? And then also just trying to wrap this all up and, oh, well, if you don't believe Amber Heard, remember, that means that you're degrading to every single survivor of domestic violence out there because her story should be heard. She needs to be listened to. Somebody needs to give back Amber Heard's voice. Yeah, that's kind of the central argument at the center of this entire case, right? Her voice caused all of these problems, okay? And she doesn't have the evidence to back it up. But apparently because she doesn't have the evidence to back it up, okay, that just means that the injuries and the instances were just too many to bear. It was a fantastical fucking dumpster fire, but Rottenborn presented the facts as best he could. And last but not least, Elaine Bredehoft. I think she probably ran over her time, right? Because both sides were well aware of the fact that they had 2 hours for their closing arguments and their rebuttal. Okay, so Johnny Depp's side expertly left 39 minutes left. Okay, 39 minutes to deliver just the absolute fucking shit kicking right there at the end that Camille Vasquez delivered with the rebuttal. But who ran over time? Because apparently Rottenborn was regurgitating all the talking points for about 70 to 75 minutes. And then Elaine just nattered on and just told a story like your drunk aunt at fucking Thanksgiving. And then, okay, so over the course of the year, it went from one holiday to another. And then at the other, I went boating that one time. And I was out on the lake and we went water skiing. And it was great for the day. And then at the end of the day, we went and sat around the fire. And then I went and slept in the log cabin. And then we woke up in the morning and we made sausages and eggs. And then we had toast as well. And then we went back out onto the lake. It was like that for 45 minutes. And I don't remember anything that she said. Except for the last point that she brought up. Okay, she brought up the counterclaim. And I was like, well, if you think that Amber Heard has won on her claim. Oh, actually, there's something else that I remember. Actually, 3 other things. She got objected to and lost the objections on her closing arguments because she was deliberately, kind of like her client, deliberately misrepresenting the facts, okay? She was asking the jury, okay, I want you to consult these notes that aren't in evidence that back up the claims that Amber Heard is really suffering mentally, okay? Just take a look at some of Bonnie Jacobs' notes and texts. They'll just back everything up. Oh, wait, I can't actually say that, and I just go up to the sidebar in order to get my fucking shit pushed in 3 final times. That's great and wonderful. And then just meander back up to the podium and then continue on with your just laborious story in order to the point where you get to your crescendo right before the end. Then you just waddle away from the fucking stand one final time. I know Amber Heard and I know we sued for $100 million, but yeah, we don't really need that much. Oh, sorry, what? Why would you undermine your fucking counterclaim right then? What if we're supposed to take this seriously as the jury, right? That Amber Heard was suing for legitimate reasons, that mental anguish and career opportunities, and I don't know, she needs more plastic kids to put in microwaves or elective surgeries to get stingers taken out of her dog's paw because they stepped on a bee. Ugh. But it was atrocious. Like, okay, to give a letter grade to Rottenborn, I would say probably like a C+. He had a shit argument, okay, based on shit facts, and he had no law left on his side, okay? You could see what he wanted to do. Basic defamation claim. He could have won that case. He's a good enough lawyer in order to cite the case law, in order to just punch through on those facts. But Elaine and Amber, who is a constant lawyer shopper because she's had a different divorce lawyer, not the one that Johnny Depp couldn't fire, but apparently did fire, I guess, whatever. Then Eric George, who helped craft, Eric George? I know the last name's George, helped craft the ACLU statement. Okay, he's not on the case anymore. And then there was another crew that helped her out during the UK trial, which they tried, Elaine specifically tried real fucking hard in order to bring up. It's like, well, Johnny Depp lost that UK trial. couldn't say that, but they treaded that line real fucking close. That could have been one of the objections, but by the time that Elaine got to the objections, I think that fucking fire hose had already soaked everybody in the jury, okay? It was just a fire hose of regurgitated talking points without a breath, okay? If the only thing that I could say positive about Elaine before I never see her helmet hair again is that she's a really decent orator. There wasn't a lot of start, stops, ums, ahs. She was just delivering point after point after point after point. But it's Elaine. Her delivery is just taxing to listen to. She doesn't have any sort of vocal range. She doesn't use pauses in her speech. It's just da 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 da. Meanwhile, everybody else, at least Rottenborn, understands. Unfortunately, he has that name, but he does understand how to deliver a speech. Okay, he looks at the jury. He uses his gestures. Okay, he engages people when he speaks. Okay, I'm not saying I would ever hire him or look him square in the eye. Well, I wouldn't have to because they're shorter than me. But he's a competent arguer. Okay. And then Ben Chu, he's just likable, okay? Like, he's just sitting there. He's always pulling some of the funniest expressions in court. And that's going to be one of the just really sad things because he's not going to be around anymore. And I don't know how many more high-profile cases like this are ever going to come around. This is pretty much it, okay? This is essentially the biggest trial since OJ. And it's probably not going to be one anywhere close to this unless I'm really undervaluing how important Marilyn Manson and his two accusers are. But I don't know how that one's going to work out, and that's off in the future. Don't have a date on that or anything like that. But yeah, Benju, likable guy, good presenter. And then Camille, even though she was reading everything, okay, it was important that she did have a list because she was just running down all the evidence. This is a lie, okay? Amber Heard expects you to believe that everybody is against Johnny Depp, right? I'll list all these people, okay? Morgan Knight, Stephen Duders, Travis McGivern, Malcolm Connolly, Morgan Tremaine, and Kate Moss, among a litany of other people. You have to disbelieve all of them and just simply believe the one person in court. Are you going to believe Amber Heard at her word? Yeah. There was one single statement that Camille made in reference to that, somewhere along those lines, where would you take Amber Heard at her word? And that's what she did. She just said her statement, called Amber Heard out as being a fucking liar, okay? And then had that pregnant pause at the end of it and just let it sit in the jury's mind. She's a really, really, really good, really compelling lawyer as well. There are big things in her future, which is terrific. And what she did on Rebuttal, well, it was pretty vicious. But yeah, attacking some of the points. Like, if you were going to watch one single segment from today's proceedings in general, it would be Camille's closing because it was 39 minutes because they had good time management. As for the other side, their argument, okay, they had the same 2 hours, and what they had to work with on Rebuttal, well, they wasted 1 hour, 54 fucking minutes. So they had 6 minutes left on Rebuttal. Camille had 39, and she made use of just about all of it. I think she walked away with just the couple of minutes that were left, right? So this brand new First Amendment argument, yeah, she rebutted that by, there's a difference. Miss Heard has no right to tell the world that Mr. Depp physically or sexually assaulted her when it isn't true. Yeah, no, exactly. So this whole wrap yourself in the American flag, it's like, you're retarded? Did you just come up with that? No, wait, you don't have to answer that. Obviously you did. And then, yeah, once again, reinforcing that very, very, very powerful narrative that this is a role of a lifetime, a public figure representing abuse. This is her greatest performance that she's ever delivered and likely will ever deliver. Vasquez accused Amber Heard of lying about being abused and said that she took the role of a lifetime as a public figure representing abuse. Yeah, I'm sure that probably dug deep at her. Oh well, sucks to suck. Exposing every embarrassing detail of his life on national television if he was guilty of anything that Miss Heard accuses him of. She lied about Mr. Depp, took the role of lifetime as a public figure representing abuse. Yeah, man, she beat the brakes off of whatever the 6 minutes that Rottenborn had left. You know what you can do with 6 minutes when you're trying to do rebuttal? Load a gun and put it in your mouth. But yeah, no, he just once again reinforced his argument. Listen, this is simple technical defamation. Please believe me and forget the fact that, yeah, we just totally wasted everybody's time, or at least Elaine fucking torpedoed this case at the 11th hour. But realistically, closing arguments, aren't really designed, okay? At least in my opinion, okay? They're meant to summarize the case, but at this point, everybody has their mind made up, okay? It's just bickering on a couple of the details that are left. It's like, okay, you guys probably remember a couple of years ago when you had the presidential debates and everything, okay? Everybody already knows who the fuck they're going to be voting for, and they're just looking for the sound bites and the clips and the little highlights that are out there. That's exactly what closing arguments, especially in this situation, are, and just reaffirming the support that you already have on the jury, okay? Giving them the little talking points that they can take into the little room in order to hopefully come out with a favorable decision on their behalf. Because again, I think Johnny Depp's walking away with some decision, okay? I don't know necessarily when it's going to happen. I don't think it's come out quite yet, and I think that they're still going to be deliberating for at least a little while longer. I've been talking longer than I anticipated, but it's all right, it's fine. Will it come out on Tuesday? I don't know, maybe. The way that the jury goes into the room, maybe it's like, okay, what do you guys think here? Okay, take a general temperature of the room if they haven't already. And it's like, okay, you guys all think that Johnny's cool? Maybe we could figure out what the damages are by the end of the day, okay? Or maybe, you know what, hey, now that we all know that basically Johnny or Amber, I could be completely misreading everything that's going on here, it's likely. It's not likely. It's possible. It's just not probable. There you go. Better characterization of this. Okay. So jury gets in there. They talk things out for a little while. If anybody has any lingering questions, they just try to hash them out. Here's the facts. Here's the evidence that's there. Maybe we'll watch a couple of the films. Some play back some audios just for a good laugh that Johnny Depp was yelling, "You're a cunt!" Maybe play that one for laughs one last time. But then maybe take their questions to themselves, okay, if they have any other issues that are still just kind of scratching at the back of their head, or maybe just come up with a number, meet for Tuesday, talk for a little while, and then render a decision, okay? If it doesn't get ended today, it'll get ended by Tuesday, but we'll see what happens. I thought the closing arguments were very enjoyable. It was a nice recap of the entire trial, which is exactly what they're designed to do, and Camille and Chu absolutely dog-walked. Elaine specifically, Rottenborn was fine, but still, come on, it's fucking C+ effort from a D- case. With all of that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. Why don't you follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.